Hey Star Wars fans, welcome to another episode of HoloNet. Hope you guys enjoy my work.
What if Thrawn commanded the defense of the Death Star? Let's explore the depths of it in this video. The exhaust port, 2 meters wide, the rebellion's only hope. Luke Skywalker is seconds away from taking the shot that will destroy the Death Star and save the galaxy. His finger hovers over the trigger. The Force guides him. Victory is certain, except it isn't, because Grand Moff Tarkin is dead, and the man who replaced him, he found that weakness weeks ago. He's been waiting for this moment, preparing for it, turning the rebellion's greatest hope into their ultimate trap. Grand Admiral Thrawn doesn't make mistakes. Red Squadron screams through the trench. Gold Squadron is already gone, wiped out in seconds by TIE fighters that appeared from nowhere. From inside the trench walls themselves, hidden, waiting, patient. Luke doesn't know it yet, but he's not the hunter. He's the prey. On the Death Star's bridge, blue skin gleams in the tactical display's glow. Red eyes track every rebel fighter with predatory focus. Thrawn's voice cuts through the chaos, calm, almost gentle. They believe they have found our weakness. How predictable, how perfectly predictable. The officers around him shift nervously. They have served under many commanders, but none quite like Thrawn. The blue-skinned Chiss carries himself with an authority that seems almost supernatural. When he speaks, men listen. When he commands, they obey. Not out of fear, though he is certainly capable of inspiring that, but out of something rarer. Genuine respect. Thrawn studies the display, his red eyes tracking the movement of each rebel fighter with mechanical precision. He has anticipated this moment for weeks. Every defensive position, every patrol route, every contingency plan has been designed for exactly this scenario. The rebels think they are executing a daring attack. In reality, they are walking into a killing field of his own design. He gestures to the display where the rebel fighters appear as small dots racing toward their doom. Activate the secondary screen, spring the trap, and in that moment, everything changes. TIE fighters emerge from hidden hangars built into the trench walls themselves. They appear ahead of the rebels, behind them, above them. Red Squadron finds itself caught in a killing field of their own making, and Luke Skywalker realizes with dawning horror that they were never the hunters. They were always the prey. But how did we get here? Or how did the greatest tactical mind in the Empire come to command the Death Star's defense? The answer lies in the weeks before the Battle of Yavin, in a series of events that would reshape galactic history. Grand Moff Wilhuff Tarkin stands on the bridge of the Death Star, surveying the technological terror he has spent years bringing to completion. The battle station is nearly operational. Soon, the Emperor's vision of absolute control will be realized. Tarkin permits himself a rare smile as he contemplates the power at his fingertips. He never sees the assassin. The explosive device is small, elegant even, planted by one of Saw Gerrera's partisans who infiltrated the Death Star's construction crews months ago. The partisan had been a maintenance worker, as invisible among the thousands of laborers who kept the massive station functioning. He had watched Tarkin for weeks, learning his routines, identifying the weak points in his security. The bomb itself was a masterpiece of compression, small enough to fit inside a cleaning droid, powerful enough to vaporize everything within a 10-meter radius. The partisan had programmed it himself, using techniques learned in the brutal guerrilla campaigns of Jedha. When it detonates, it doesn't destroy the bridge. It doesn't need to. It simply removes Wilhuff Tarkin from the equation, along with 3 of his senior officers. The blast tears through the observation deck where Tarkin had been reviewing fleet deployments, turning the Grand Moff and his staff into scattered atoms. The attack is so sudden, so unexpected, and that the Death Star's security forces spend hours searching for additional bombs before they even begin to investigate how it happened. The news reaches Emperor Palpatine within hours. He sits on his throne, yellow eyes gleaming in the shadows as he contemplates this setback. Tarkin was useful, competent, but he was also replaceable. The question is, with whom? The Emperor leans back, his withered fingers steepling before him. He has ruled the galaxy for nearly 2 decades now, and in that time he has learned to read the currents of fate. The Force whispers to him of danger, of opportunity, of pivotal moments that will shape the future. This is one such moment. The obvious choice would be Admiral Motti or General Tagg. Both are ambitious. Both are capable enough. But Palpatine senses something in the Force. A disturbance. The rebellion is planning something significant, and he cannot afford to leave his greatest weapon in the hands of merely adequate commanders. He closes his eyes, reaching out through the dark side, feeling the threads of destiny that connect all things. The Death Star is a nexus, a focal point around which the future will be written. Whoever commands it will play a crucial role in the events to come. His thoughts turn to the Chiss officer who has been making waves in the Outer Rim. Thrawn, an alien in an empire that despises aliens. A strategic genius who has crushed every opponent placed before him. A man who serves the Empire not out of fanaticism or fear, but out of cold calculation. Palpatine does not trust Thrawn. The Chiss cannot be manipulated through the dark side. His mind is too ordered, and too disciplined for the usual Sith techniques of corruption and control. When Palpatine reaches out to touch Thrawn's thoughts, he encounters not the usual chaos of human emotion, but something more like a fortress, solid, structured, and utterly impenetrable. But that very quality makes him useful now. The Death Star needs a commander who thinks rather than reacts, who plans rather than postures, who can anticipate enemy strategy and prepare appropriate countermeasures. The Emperor's command is transmitted across the galaxy. Grand Admiral Thrawn is to report to the Death Star immediately and assume command of its defense and final construction phases. Thrawn receives the orders aboard his flagship, the Chimera. He reads them twice, his expression revealing nothing. His aide, Commander Eli Vanto, watches him carefully. "Sir, is something wrong?" Thrawn sets down the datapad. His red eyes are thoughtful. "The Emperor is placing me in command of the Death Star. This is unexpected. It's a tremendous honor, sir. The most powerful weapon ever created." "Indeed." Thrawn rises and moves to the viewport, staring out at the stars. But I find myself wondering why. Tarkin's death is convenient. Too convenient. The Emperor is not a man who reacts to circumstances. He shapes them. You think the Emperor had Tarkin killed? I think the Emperor saw an opportunity and seized it. Whether he created that opportunity is irrelevant. What matters is what he expects me to accomplish. He turns back to Vanto. "Prepare my shuttle and compile everything we have on rebel tactics, their leadership, their cultural artifacts. I want to understand these people before I face them." "Cultural artifacts, sir?" Thrawn's lips curve into the faintest smile. "Art reveals truth, Commander, the deepest truths of a civilization, a movement, a person. If I am to defeat the rebellion, I must first understand what drives them, what they fear, what they love, what they are willing to die for." Within days, Thrawn arrives at the Death Star. The massive battle station looms before his shuttle like a mechanical moon, its super laser dish a wound in its surface. Thrawn studies it with the same intensity he brings to everything, noting the patrol patterns, the defensive positions, the flow of traffic around the station. He is met by Admiral Motti, who makes no effort to hide his displeasure at being passed over for command. "Grand Admiral, welcome to the Death Star. I trust your journey was comfortable." And Thrawn ignores the barely concealed hostility in Motti's voice. "I require a complete technical briefing on the station's systems, all of them. I also want access to the original design documents and any modifications made during construction. That's highly classified information, Admiral." even for someone of your rank. Thrawn's gaze meets Morty's. The human flinches. I am now in command of this station, Admiral Morty. That means I'm responsible for its defense. I cannot defend what I do not understand. You will provide me with complete access, or I will inform the Emperor that his orders are being obstructed. Morty's face reddens, but he nods stiffly. As you wish, Grand Admiral. I'll have the file sent to your quarters. Thrawn spends the next 3 days immersed in the Death Star's technical specifications. He barely sleeps. He barely eats, his entire being focused on understanding the battle station in every detail. He studies the weapon systems, the shield generators, the power distribution networks. He learns the capabilities and limitations of every TIE fighter squadron assigned to the station. He memorizes the patrol routes and identifies the gaps in coverage. He walks the corridors of the station itself, observing the crew, watching how they interact with their environment. He visits the hangar bays and speaks with the pilots. He tours the power core and questions the engineers. Every piece of information, no matter how small, is catalogued and analyzed. His quarters become a web of holographic displays and handwritten notes. He has covered the walls with star charts, schematics, and psychological profiles. Not anyone looking at the room would think its occupant had gone mad. But there is method in the apparent chaos. Every element connects to every other element. The whole picture is taking shape in Thrawn's mind. And then he finds it. The thermal exhaust port is small, barely 2 meters wide. A direct hit with a proton torpedo could start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire station. It is, in essence, a fatal flaw hidden in plain sight. Thrawn stares at the schematic for a long time. His expression does not change, but his mind is racing. Director Krennic's engineers either missed this vulnerability or dismissed it as too small to exploit. They were wrong. The exhaust port is ray-shielded, but not proton-shielded. A skilled pilot flying the right approach vector could make the shot. It would be difficult, but not impossible. Given the right circumstances, the right pilot, this flaw could be catastrophic. His first instinct is to report the vulnerability and demand it be corrected. But then he pauses. Consider the situation more carefully. The rebellion has stolen the Death Star plans. They will find this weakness, just as he has. They will plan an attack designed to exploit it. They will commit their best pilots, their most daring commanders, to a desperate strike aimed at this single point. And they will expect the Empire to be unaware of their strategy. Thrawn begins to smile. He does not report the flaw. Instead, he begins to prepare. If the rebels believe they have found the Death Star's secret weakness, they will become predictable. They will focus all their resources on exploiting it, and that focus will become their undoing. Over the following weeks, Thrawn implements subtle changes to the Death Star's defenses. He repositions TIE squadrons into concealed hangars built into the trench walls. He adjusts the surface turret targeting algorithms to appear less effective than they actually are. He establishes layered interception zones that will funnel any attacking force into predetermined kill boxes. He also studies the rebellion. Using intelligence reports, intercepted communications, and his collection of rebel art and propaganda, Thrawn builds psychological profiles of the Alliance's key leaders. He spends hours examining rebel recruitment posters, analyzing the imagery and text for insights into their ideology. He listens to recordings of their speeches, noting the words they emphasize, the emotions they appeal to. Mon Mothma, said the diplomatic idealist who believes in the power of righteous cause. Her speeches are measured, rational, appealing to logic and morality. She believes the Empire can be defeated through persuasion as much as force. This makes her dangerous in the long term, but predictable in the short term. She will try to minimize casualties, even at the cost of tactical advantage. Admiral Akbar, the tactical traditionalist who learned warfare in the service of the Empire. A Mon Calamari who served as a slave before the rebellion freed him. His tactics are solid but conservative, rooted in conventional naval doctrine. He will follow established protocols, which makes him easy to anticipate. He is most dangerous when cornered, when desperation forces him to abandon his training. General Dodonna. I'm the aging strategist who still thinks in terms of the Clone Wars, a former Republic officer who never quite adapted to the new realities of galactic warfare. His plans are technically sound, but often lack imagination. He will devise a straightforward attack on the known weakness, trusting in his pilot's skill rather than attempting anything more elaborate. And the mysterious figure who has been appearing in Rebel communications, a young man named Skywalker. Thrawn's research into this name leads him down an unexpected path. Skywalker, the same name as the famous Jedi Knight who served the Republic during the Clone Wars, the same Skywalker who became Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker, the hero with no fear, the chosen one, the man who fell to darkness and helped destroy the Jedi Order. This cannot be coincidence. Thrawn requests additional information from Imperial intelligence. What he learns is fragmentary, but fascinating. A young man from Tatooine, a moisture farmer, someone who was present at the destruction of the Alderaan system and the rescue of Princess Leia Organa. More importantly, there are reports of unusual abilities, displays of reflexes and intuition that suggest Force sensitivity. Thrawn has studied the Jedi, not their mysticism, which he finds largely irrelevant, but their capabilities in combat. A Force-sensitive pilot would have advantages that normal pilots lack. Enhanced reaction time, precognitive awareness, the ability to make impossible shots. If this Skywalker is indeed Force-sensitive, he will almost certainly be part of any attack on the Death Star. He may even be the pilot they expect to make the critical shot. Thrawn factors this into his planning. He cannot predict or counter the Force directly, but he can prepare for a pilot of exceptional skill. He can ensure that even a perfect shot will not be enough. The Grand Admiral's preparations do not go unnoticed. Lord Vader arrives on the Death Star to oversee the station's final tests. The Dark Lord's presence creates tension throughout the command structure. Officers who are already nervous around Thrawn become positively terrified with both of them present. Vader requests a meeting with Thrawn in the Grand Admiral's quarters. The Chiss agrees, though he takes the precaution of removing any artifacts that might give Vader insight into his thought processes. The Dark Lord enters without announcement. His mechanical breathing fills the room as he regards Thrawn with the blank gaze of his helmet. I have reviewed your changes to the station's defenses. They are unusual. Thrawn gestures for Vader to sit. The Dark Lord remains standing. I prefer to think of them as comprehensive. The Death Star's defensive capabilities were designed to repel a conventional fleet engagement. But the rebellion lacks the resources for such an attack. They will try something else, something unconventional. You expect a small craft assault. I expect them to exploit the thermal exhaust port. Vader is silent for a moment. When he speaks, his voice carries a hint of surprise. You found the flaw. It was not difficult. I'm only surprised that Krennic's engineers did not address it during construction. Director Krennic was more concerned with pleasing the Emperor than with practical considerations. Vader moves to the viewport, staring out at the stars. You have prepared a trap. I have prepared for every contingency I can anticipate. A trap implies certainty. I'm not certain the rebels will attack. I'm not certain they will use the strategy I expect. But if they do, they will find us ready. And if your trap fails, Thrawn's expression remains calm. Then I will adapt. That is the nature of warfare, Lord Vader. No plan survives contact with the enemy. The key is to maintain flexibility while maximizing the probability of success. Vader turns to face him. Even through the mask, Thrawn can sense the Dark Lord's intensity. There is a young pilot among the rebels, a Force sensitive. He will be with them when they attack. Thrawn nods. Luke Skywalker. I have read the intelligence reports. He is the son of Anakin Skywalker, I presume. The silence that follows is profound. Vader's breathing seems to grow louder in the quiet room. That is not your concern. On the contrary, Lord Vader. It is precisely my concern. A Force-sensitive pilot represents a variable that I cannot fully account for. If he is indeed the one they will send to make the critical shot, then I must plan accordingly. I cannot predict the Force, but I can ensure that even a perfect attack will not succeed. Vader considers this. And how do you intend to accomplish that? Thrawn allows himself a small smile. By denying him the opportunity to make the shot at all. The Force may guide his hand, but it cannot protect him from a trap he never sees coming. The Dark Lord is silent for a long moment. Then, and unexpectedly, he nods. I will fly in the defense myself. If Skywalker comes, I will deal with him personally. I would expect nothing less, but I ask that you follow my tactical direction during the battle. Personal matters can be addressed after the rebellion is crushed. Another pause. Then Vader turns and strides toward the door. Very well, Grand Admiral. I will follow your plan. But know this. If your trap fails, it will be your head the Emperor claims, not mine. The door hisses shut behind him. Thrawn remains standing by the viewport for a long time, contemplating the darkness between the stars. The days that follow are tense. Imperial intelligence has confirmed that the rebellion has established a base on a moon called Yavin 4. The Death Star is brought out of hiding and begins its slow approach. In 16 hours, now the jungle moon will be within firing range, but Thrawn knows the rebels will not wait that long. He assembles his command staff for a final briefing. Admiral Motti, General Teg, and the squadron commanders gather in the main conference room. Vader stands apart, a silent observer. Thrawn activates the holographic display, showing the Death Star and the predicted approach vectors for a small craft assault. Gentlemen, within the next 12 hours, the rebellion will launch what they believe to be a desperate last-chance attack on this station. They have obtained our technical readouts and identified what they perceive as a critical vulnerability, the thermal exhaust port leading directly to our main reactor. Motti scoffs. That port is ray-shielded. Any attack would require a direct hit with a proton torpedo. Impossible. Not impossible. Thrawn's voice is calm. Improbable. There is a difference. The rebels know this. They will send their best pilots, flying their fastest fighters, in a coordinated strike designed to penetrate our defenses and deliver a killing blow. He gestures and the display changes to show his defensive arrangements. I have prepared for this. Surface turrets will engage as expected, but with deliberately reduced effectiveness. The rebels must believe their attack is succeeding. They must commit fully before the trap springs. You want them to reach the trench? General Tag looks skeptical. I want them to believe they can. 3 squadrons of TIE fighters will be concealed in hangars built into the trench walls. They will emerge once the rebels have committed to their attack run. Additional squadrons will cut off their retreat. We will annihilate them in a crossfire from which there is no escape. And Lord Vader. Thrawn glances at the Dark Lord. Lord Vader will pursue the lead fighters personally. His skills will be most effective in the close confines of the trench. However, I've positioned additional TIE fighters at the exhaust port itself. Even if a rebel pilot reaches the target, they will be engaged before they can fire. Motti's skepticism has faded. He leans forward, studying the tactical display. This could actually work. It will work, Admiral. The rebels are operating on desperation and hope. They believe they have found our weakness. That belief will be their undoing. The briefing concludes. The officers return to their stations. Thrawn remains behind, studying the display. He has done everything possible to prepare for this battle. Now, we must wait. On Yavin 4, the Rebel Alliance is preparing for its own assault. The mood in the briefing room is tense. They have less than 12 hours before the Death Star is in range. 12 hours to launch an attack, destroy the station, and save themselves from annihilation. General Dodonna stands before the holographic display, explaining the attack plan. The exhaust port, the trench run, the proton torpedoes. It's a desperate gamble, but it's the only chance they have. In the audience, Luke Skywalker listens with a mixture of fear and determination. Hours ago, Obi-Wan Kenobi fell to Darth Vader's blade. The old Jedi's sacrifice bought them time to escape, but his death weighs heavily on Luke's heart. He has never felt so alone. Beside him, Princess Leia Organa is a study in composed fury. Her planet is gone. Billions dead. So everything she knew, everyone she loved, reduced to asteroids drifting in space. She refuses to let their deaths be meaningless. Han Solo stands at the back of the room, arms crossed, expression skeptical. He's already made clear that he's leaving. He has his reward. He has his ship. The Empire is too powerful, the odds too long. It's not his fight. Luke has tried to convince him to stay, but Han's mind is made up. Some battles can't be won, kid. Knowing when to fold is the only way to survive. The briefing ends. Pilots rush to their fighters. Luke climbs into an X-Wing, R2-D2 settling into the socket behind him. He looks up at the jungle sky, knowing that somewhere beyond those clouds, a weapon of unimaginable destruction is counting down to their annihilation. May the Force be with you. The words come from a technician nearby. Luke doesn't know if the man believes in the Force or is simply offering encouragement. It doesn't matter. Luke closes his eyes and reaches out, trying to feel what Obi-Wan described. The energy field that connects all living things. The power that guides and protects. For a moment, just a moment, he feels something. A presence. A whisper of reassurance. He opens his eyes and activates his engines. The attack begins. Red Squadron and Gold Squadron launch from the jungle base, climbing through the atmosphere and racing toward the Death Star. The massive station grows larger in their view screens, its surface a maze of trenches and towers that bristle with weapons. All wings report in. Red 10 standing by, Red 7 standing by, Red 3 standing by, Red 6 standing by, Red 9 standing by, Red 2 standing by, Red 11 standing by, Red 5 standing by. Luke's voice is steady despite the fear churning in his stomach. Around him, the other pilots form up. Ahead, Gold Squadron's Y-Wings begin their approach. Lock S-foils in attack position. The X-Wing's wings split apart, their weapons powering up. Luke accelerates toward the Death Star, watching as turbo laser fire begins to erupt from the surface. Green bolts flash past his canopy, but the targeting seems erratic. Unfocused. Their defenses aren't as strong as we expected. Someone calls out, "Don't get cocky. Stay focused on the mission. They don't know. They can't know." The surface fire is deliberately weak. Thrawn is letting them in. On the Death Star's bridge, Thrawn watches the approaching fighters with cold satisfaction. The tactical display shows their formation, their speed, their probable attack vectors. Everything is proceeding exactly as he anticipated. They're committing to the trench run, sir. Gold Squadron is leading. Good. Thrawn's voice is calm. Signal our concealed squadrons to prepare. They are not to engage until my command. Yes, sir. Thrawn turns to the communications officer. Inform Lord Vader that he may launch when ready. In the hangar bay, Darth Vader climbs into his TIE, advanced fighter. The sleek craft is faster and more maneuverable than the standard TIEs, its curved wings providing enhanced protection. Vader settles into the cockpit, his hands moving across the controls with mechanical precision. He reaches out through the Force, sensing the approaching rebel fighters. Most of them are ordinary pilots, their fear and determination creating a dull static in his perception. But one of them shines brightly, a beacon of raw, untrained power. Skywalker. Vader's hands tighten on the controls. He will deal with the boy personally. If he is truly Anakin's son, he is too dangerous to leave in rebel hands. And if he is not... The hangar doors open. Vader's TIE screams into space. Gold Squadron begins their attack run. The Y-wings are slower than the X-wings, but their proton torpedoes are more powerful. They dive into the trench, hugging the metal walls as surface fire explodes around them. The pilots are veterans, skilled in their craft, but nothing has prepared them for what awaits. Gold Leader, this is Gold 5. We've got enemy fighters incoming. Stay on target. Don't break formation. The trench stretches before them like a steel canyon. Towers and antennae flash past in a blur, and the targeting computers begin to acquire the exhaust port, still kilometers ahead. Gold 3, watch your spacing. You're drifting. Copy that, lead. Adjusting now, the TIE fighters appear from nowhere. Not from behind, as expected, but from the trench walls themselves. Hidden hangars open, disgorging swarms of Imperial fighters that tear into the surprised rebel formation. It's a trap. Break off. Break off. But it's too late to break off. More TIEs appear behind them, cutting off their retreat. Gold Squadron finds itself caught in a devastating crossfire. The pilots try to evade, try to fight back, but the geometry of the trench works against them. They can't maneuver. They can barely see their attackers. Gold 3 explodes in a ball of flame. The pilot never even had time to scream. Gold 7's wing clips the trench wall, sending the Y-wing spinning into oblivion. The fireball lights up the trench for kilometers. Gold 4, evasive, evasive. Too late. A TIE appears directly behind Gold 4, lasers blazing. The Y-wing staggers under the impacts, smoke trailing from its engines. The pilot tries to gain altitude to escape the killing field, but another TIE is waiting. The crossfire tears the ship apart. Gold Leader tries to maintain course, tries to reach the exhaust port. His torpedoes are armed, his targeting computer locked on. If he can just make the shot, none of these deaths will be in vain. But a TIE fighter appears directly ahead, lasers blazing. Gold Leader tries to evade, but there's nowhere to go. The explosion lights up the trench. Gold Squadron is gone. Every ship, every pilot, wiped out in less than 2 minutes. And on the Death Star's bridge, Thrawn allows himself a small nod of satisfaction. Gold Squadron eliminated. Red Squadron is adjusting their approach. They will try again. They have no choice. Thrawn studies the display. Signal our reserve squadrons to prepare. And remind all units, we want them committed before we spring the full trap. In his X-wing, Luke watches in horror as Gold Squadron is annihilated. The tactical display shows the hidden TIE hangars, the layered defenses that no one anticipated. This isn't the chaotic Imperial response they expected. This is something else entirely. Red Leader, Gold Squadron is gone. They had TIEs hidden in the trench walls. Red Leader's voice is grim. Copy that, Red 5. We're going to have to do this ourselves. All wings, form up for attack run. We go in together, watch each other's backs. The X-wings dive into the trench. Luke pushes his throttle forward, his targeting computer flickering to life. Behind him, R2-D2 beeps urgently as sensor contacts multiply. The little droid is working overtime, trying to jam enemy targeting systems and provide Luke with real-time tactical data. More TIEs. Lots of them. Stay focused. We can do this. But even as he says the words, Luke feels doubt creeping in. The Force whispers warnings that he doesn't fully understand. Something is wrong. Something beyond the trap they've already sprung. It's like a shadow at the edge of his vision, a presence that fills him with dread. Ahead, the exhaust port waits. The TIE fighters engage. Red Squadron fights back desperately, their lasers stabbing into the darkness. The trench becomes a hellscape of fire and debris. Ships explode, pilots scream. The comm channel is filled with cries of warning, calls for help, and the sudden silence of death. Red 9, watch your 6. I see him. I'm trying to... The transmission cuts off. Red 9's X-Wing tumbles past Luke, trailing fire. There's no time to mourn, no time to think, only time to fight. Biggs, on your left. Luke's warning comes too late. His childhood friend, the boy he grew up with on Tatooine, the pilot who inspired him to dream of the stars, takes a direct hit. His X-Wing spirals into the trench wall, disappearing in a bloom of flame. Luke screams in rage and grief, his fingers tightening on the trigger as he blasts the TIE fighter responsible into atoms. The Imperial pilot never knew what hit him. Luke's shots are perfect, guided by an instinct he doesn't fully understand. But it doesn't bring Biggs back. Red leader's down. Red 4 is gone. The squadron is being decimated. Of the 12 fighters that entered the trench, only 5 remain. And still the exhaust port beckons, just a few more kilometers ahead. The targeting computer counts down the distance. 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer. Luke, you've got one on your tail. Wedge's voice cuts through the chaos. Luke banks hard, trying to shake the pursuing TIE, but the Imperial pilot is good. Too good. The TIE's lasers skim past his canopy, close enough to scorch the transparent steel, and then a new presence enters the battle. A darkness so profound that Luke feels it in his bones. Darth Vader's TIE. Advance screams into the trench. I have you now. The Dark Lord's targeting computer locks onto Luke's X-Wing. His finger moves toward the firing stud. But before he can fire, Wedge appears, lasers blazing. The shots go wide, but they force Vader to evade. Luke, go! I'll hold him off. Wedge, no. But Wedge is already engaging the Dark Lord, his X-Wing dancing around the TIE advanced in a desperate duel. Vader's wingmen move to intercept, their fire forcing Wedge to break off his attack. Luke pushes forward. The exhaust port is so close now, his targeting computer begins to lock on, the crosshairs drifting toward the small opening. Use the Force, Luke. The voice is impossible. Obi-Wan is dead. And yet Luke hears him, feels him, as clearly as if the old Jedi were sitting beside him. Trust your feelings. Luke reaches up and switches off his targeting computer. Luke, you switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong? Nothing. I'm all right. He closes his eyes and reaches out with his feelings. The exhaust port is ahead. He can sense it. He can feel the path the torpedoes must take. He can... A TIE fighter appears directly ahead. Luke's eyes snap open. His hands yank at the controls, but it's too late. The TIE's lasers rake across his X-Wing's nose, shredding the targeting array and sending him into a spin. His proton torpedoes fire, but they're wild, slamming into the trench wall meters from the exhaust port. The shot misses. No. Luke fights for control, barely managing to pull up before slamming into the trench floor. Behind him, Vader's TIE is closing, the Dark Lord's presence a crushing weight in the Force. This ends now. Vader's finger tightens on the trigger, and then the Millennium Falcon appears. Han Solo's modified freighter screams out of the sun, its quad lasers blazing. The smuggler is grinning like a madman, Chewbacca roaring beside him as they dive into the battle. It's a suicide run, charging directly at Darth Vader's formation, but Han doesn't care. He's made his choice. The TIE fighters flanking Vader explode. The Dark Lord himself is forced to evade as laser bolts stitch across his path. His TIE advanced shudders under a near miss, alarms screaming in the cockpit. Yahoo! You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home. But Luke's torpedoes are already gone. His shot has already missed, and as he struggles to regain control of his damaged fighter, he realizes with dawning horror that the mission has failed. The exhaust port remains intact. The Death Star remains whole. Han, we have to get out of here. What? Kid, you were supposed to... The shot missed. We have to go. Han's triumphant expression falters. He glances at the tactical display, sees the exhaust port still pulsing with heat, realizes what this means. For a moment, His mind goes blank with horror. All of this, all these deaths, for nothing. The Millennium Falcon's engines flare as Han processes this information. Behind them, more TIE fighters are emerging from the Death Star's hangars. The trap is closing, and they're still inside it. All remaining craft, retreat, retreat. The survivors of Red Squadron break off, racing for the edge of the Death Star's defensive perimeter. Luke's X-Wing shudders and sparks, barely functional. One of his engines is gone completely, the other coughing and sputtering. Warning lights flash across his console. R2-D2 beeps frantically, trying to reroute power to keep them flying. Wedge pulls alongside, his own fighter scarred from his duel with Vader. "Luke, your ship is falling apart. Can you make the jump?" "I don't know. I'll try." The Death Star's turbo lasers open up, no longer holding back. The massive weapons that were designed to destroy capital ships now turn their fury on the fleeing fighters. Green fire fills the void as the Imperial gunners try to finish what the TIE fighters started. An X-Wing explodes. Another. The pilots don't even have time to scream. The Millennium Falcon's shields flare as it absorbs hit after hit. Sparks shower from overloaded circuits. Chewbacca howls in protest, his paws dancing across the engineering console, calculating jump coordinates. Everyone hold on. The stars blur. The Death Star vanishes. The survivors of the Rebel assault escape into hyperspace. They have lost. But the Rebellion's last hope has failed. On the Death Star's bridge, Thrawn watches the hyperspace signatures fade from his display. His expression remains impassive, but there is satisfaction in his eyes. They escaped. Admiral Motti sounds almost disappointed. Thrawn turns to face him. A handful escaped. Their attack force is destroyed. Their best pilots are dead, and we have confirmed several things of critical importance. Such as... Thrawn gestures to the tactical replay. Their base is on Yavin 4. We will be in range within hours. They have no capital ships capable of challenging us. Their entire strategy depended on that single shot, which failed. And Lord Vader has confirmed the presence of a Force-sensitive pilot who is almost certainly the son of Anakin Skywalker. He turns to the viewport. This battle was never about destroying a few fighters. It was about breaking their hope. They gambled everything on one desperate attack, and they lost. When we destroy their base, the rebellion will be finished. And the escapees? Motti presses. Thrawn's eyes narrow. Hunt them down. Every ship that fled carries intelligence about our defenses. I want them found and destroyed before they can report to any surviving rebel cells. The order goes out. Imperial ships throughout the sector begin their search. Hours later, the Death Star moves into firing range of Yavin 4. The jungle moon fills the view screen, green and tranquil, hiding the desperate activity below. From orbit, it looks peaceful, beautiful even, a gem of life in the cold darkness of space. The rebel base is evacuating, but there is nowhere to run. No transport ships lift off in haste, their holds crammed with personnel and equipment. Some make it to hyperspace. Most don't. The Death Star's turbo laser batteries pick them off one by one, their green beams slashing across the sky like the fingers of an angry god. No fleet to protect them, no miracle to save them, just the cold mathematics of destruction. Grand Admiral Thrawn stands at the center of the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back. Around him, officers work their stations with practiced efficiency. The superlaser is charging. The targeting computer is locking on. The moment he has been working toward since he first saw the Death Star's schematics is finally at hand. Firing sequence initiated. Power levels at 70%, 80%, 90%. Thrawn watches the display. The power readings climb. The weapon systems align. Everything he has planned, everything he has prepared for, comes down to this moment. The destruction of the rebellion, the vindication of his methods, the dawn of a new era of Imperial dominance. 100%. super laser fully charged and ready to fire. Thrawn's voice is calm, almost gentle. You may fire when ready. The super laser activates. A beam of concentrated destruction lances across space, striking the jungle moon. For a moment, nothing seems to happen. The surface of Yavin 4 glows with an eerie green light, the energy pulse penetrating deep into the planetary crust. Then the moon begins to die. Cracks appear across the surface, spreading like veins of fire. The atmosphere ignites, a shockwave of superheated gas expanding outward at terrifying speed. Mountains crumble, oceans boil. The ancient temples where the rebellion made its final stand are vaporized in an instant. The explosion is visible from orbit, a blossoming flower of fire and debris. Within seconds, Yavin 4 is gone. Where a living world once existed, there is only an expanding cloud of rock and ash, and with it, the heart of the rebellion. The destruction of the rebel base sends shockwaves throughout the galaxy. News of the Empire's victory spreads faster than even Thrawn anticipated. Within hours, every major news outlet in the core worlds is broadcasting footage of Yavin 4's destruction. The images are played on repeat, a constant reminder of Imperial power. The Death Star is real. It is powerful beyond imagination. And the rebellion has been crushed. On worlds that had secretly harbored rebel sympathies, panic spreads. Politicians who had made covert donations to the Alliance scrambled to destroy evidence of their involvement. Military officers who had been considering defection quietly reaffirmed their loyalty to the Emperor. The message is clear. Resistance is futile. The Empire will destroy anyone who opposes it. On Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine receives the report with a smile. He sits in his throne room, surrounded by shadows and silence, savoring the moment. He has sensed the disturbance in the Force, felt the deaths of the rebels on Yavin 4. Thousands of voices crying out in terror, then suddenly silenced. It is a feast for his dark appetites, but more importantly, he has felt the survival of young Skywalker. The boy escaped. Yes, my master. Lord Vader reports that his X-Wing was damaged but made the jump to hyperspace. He was last seen in the company of a modified freighter, likely the vessel known as the Millennium Falcon. Palpatine's smile widens. This is not a setback. This is an opportunity. The boy is strong in the Force, stronger than he should be for someone with so little training. With proper manipulation, he could become a powerful servant of the dark side. A replacement for Vader, perhaps. Or a complement to him. Good. Very good. The boy is strong in the Force. He will seek training. He will seek revenge. And in his anger, he will become the perfect weapon. Continue the hunt for survivors, but ensure that Skywalker is taken alive. I want him brought before me. I have plans for him. As you wish, my lord. The Emperor turns to gaze out at the cityscape of the Imperial capital. The spires of Coruscant gleam in the perpetual twilight. On a monument to the power he has accumulated over decades of careful manipulation. The Republic fell. The Jedi fell. Now the rebellion has fallen. Nothing stands between him and eternal dominion. Grand Admiral Thrawn has proven his worth. See that he is rewarded appropriately. But watch him carefully. Men of such ability are useful and dangerous. The Grand Admiral's loyalty is to the Empire, not to me personally. That makes him difficult to control. If he ever becomes a liability, he must be eliminated swiftly and completely. I understand, my master. I will make the necessary arrangements. In the chaos of the Death Star's victory, the survivors of the rebel assault scatter across the galaxy. The Millennium Falcon, carrying Luke, Han, Chewbacca, and the droids, makes a series of random hyperspace jumps designed to throw off pursuit. Luke sits in the lounge, his head in his hands, replaying the battle over and over in his mind. The shot missed. All those deaths, all that sacrifice, and the shot missed. Hey, kid. Han drops into the seat across from him. The smuggler's usual cocky demeanor is subdued. It wasn't your fault. That tie came out of nowhere. There was nothing you could do. There was something. Luke looks up, his eyes red. There was something. I could feel it. The Force was guiding me, and I just needed another second. One more second, and I would have made the shot. Han shifts uncomfortably. He's never known what to make of Luke's talk about the Force, and the events of the past hours have left him more uncertain than ever. Look, I don't understand all that mystical stuff, but I know you did everything you could. We all did. It wasn't enough. No, it wasn't. Han's voice is quiet. But we're still alive. That's more than a lot of good people can say right now. And as long as we're alive, we can still fight. Luke looks at him, surprised by the sentiment. I thought you were leaving, taking your reward and disappearing. Han shrugs, a hint of his usual grin returning. Yeah, well, plans change. Turns out the Empire is a lot more annoying than I thought. And maybe I'm tired of running. Before Luke can respond, Leia appears in the doorway. She looks exhausted, haunted, but there is steel in her eyes. We need to find the other survivors. Mon Mothma, Admiral Akbar, whoever made it out before the base was destroyed. The Alliance isn't dead as long as any of us are still fighting. Do we even know if anyone else survived? Luke asks. Some transports got away. I saw them on the scopes before we jumped. They'll have scattered, gone to ground. It will take time to find them and regroup. Han stands, stretching. Then we better get started. Chewie, set a course for the nearest safe port. We've got a lot of work to do. The Millennium Falcon changes course, disappearing deeper into the galaxy's shadows. In the weeks that follow, the Empire moves to capitalize on its victory. The Death Star becomes the symbol of Imperial supremacy, a reminder to every world that resistance is futile. Systems that had secretly supported the rebellion scramble to distance themselves, their leaders issuing proclamations of loyalty to the Emperor. Grand Admiral Thrawn is summoned to Coruscant to receive the Emperor's personal congratulations. The ceremony is grand, befitting the architect of the Empire's greatest triumph. Thrawn stands before the throne, his expression as unreadable as ever. You have done well, Grand Admiral. The destruction of the rebel base is a victory that will echo through history. I'm honored to serve the Empire, Your Majesty. Palpatine's yellow eyes glitter with amusement, and yet I sense you are not entirely satisfied. What troubles you, Thrawn? Thrawn considers his response carefully. The rebellion is wounded, Your Majesty, but not destroyed. Key leaders escaped. The Force-sensitive Skywalker escaped. As long as they remain free, they will continue to inspire resistance. And you have recommendations. A coordinated campaign to hunt down the survivors. But more than that, a change in Imperial strategy. The Death Star demonstrates our power. But power alone will not ensure lasting control. We must win the loyalty of the systems we rule, not merely their fear. Palpatine's expression flickers. It is not quite displeasure, but there is something calculating in his gaze. An interesting perspective, not one shared by many in my empire. Perhaps not, Your Majesty, but it is the perspective that will ensure the empire endures. The Emperor is silent for a long moment. Then he smiles. Continue your work, Grand Admiral. Hunt down the rebellion's remnants. Demonstrate to the galaxy that the Empire is both strong and just. You will have the resources you require. Thrawn bows. As you wish, Your Majesty. He turns and walks from the throne room, his mind already racing ahead to the challenges to come. The Emperor has given him latitude, but Thrawn is not naive. Palpatine is a Sith Lord. His priorities are not Thrawn's priorities. Sooner or later, their visions for the Empire will come into conflict, but for now, there is work to be done. The hunt for the rebel survivors becomes Thrawn's primary focus. He deploys intelligence assets throughout the galaxy, tracking the movements of suspected rebel sympathizers. He analyzes patterns of communication, financial transfers, and shipping manifests, looking for the invisible threads that connect the scattered remnants of the Alliance. It is painstaking work. The rebellion has gone to ground, its cell structure making it almost impossible to trace. But Thrawn is patient. He knows that eventually someone will make a mistake. In the meantime, he implements his broader strategy for imperial reform. And he targets the most egregious examples of corruption and abuse within the imperial military, removing officers who prioritize cruelty over competence. He advocates for policies that address legitimate grievances in conquered systems, reducing the appeal of rebellion. These efforts bring him into conflict with other imperial leaders. Grand Moff Tarkin may be dead, but his philosophy of rule through fear has many adherents. They see Thrawn's approach as weakness, a betrayal of everything the Empire stands for. The most dangerous of these opponents is Director Orson Krennic's successor, a man named Gallius Rax. Rax has the Emperor's ear and harbors ambitions that extend far beyond his current position. He sees Thrawn as a rival to be eliminated. Grand Admiral. Rax approaches Thrawn in the corridors of Imperial High Command, his smile sharp as a vibro blade. I understand you've been questioning our methods. Some might call that disloyal. Thrawn regards him coolly. I question inefficiency, Director. Cruelty that serves no purpose beyond satisfying the whims of petty officials is inefficient. It creates resentment, inspires resistance, and wastes resources that could be better employed elsewhere. And yet the Emperor himself endorses these methods. Are you suggesting you know better than His Majesty? I am suggesting that the Empire must evolve if it is to survive. The Death Star has demonstrated our power. Now we must demonstrate our wisdom. Rax's smile doesn't waver, but his eyes harden. Be careful, Grand Admiral. The Emperor values results. Philosophies? Not so much. He turns and walks away, leaving Thrawn alone in the corridor. The Chiss watches him go, his expression thoughtful. Rax is dangerous. More dangerous than Motti or any of the others who have opposed him. He will need to be dealt with eventually. But for now, the priority is the rebellion. The first major breakthrough comes 3 months after the destruction of Yavin. Imperial intelligence intercepts a communication between 2 rebel cells, a brief message that includes a set of coordinates. Thrawn deploys a strike force to investigate. They find a hidden base on a frozen moon in the Outer Rim. It is small, barely a way station, but the information recovered there leads to another base and another. Like pulling on a thread, Thrawn begins to unravel the rebellion's network. The survivors are captured or killed, their ships seized, their safe houses exposed. Mon Mothma narrowly escapes one raid, Admiral Akbar another. But their options are dwindling. The noose is tightening. And then there is Skywalker. Reports of the young Force-sensitive appear sporadically, always vague, always incomplete. He has been seen on Tatooine, searching for something at his old home. He has been seen on Dagobah, a swamp world with no strategic value. He has been seen on Bespin, meeting with a man named Lando Calrissian. Thrawn studies these reports obsessively. He knows that Skywalker is the key, not just because of his Force abilities, but because of what he represents. As long as Skywalker lives, the rebellion has a symbol around which to rally. Capture or kill him, and the last spark of hope will be extinguished. Lord Vader shares this obsession, though for different reasons. The Dark Lord has been increasingly absent from Imperial operations and pursuing his own investigation into Skywalker's background. Thrawn suspects he knows the truth about the boy's parentage, but Vader has revealed nothing. Their partnership, such as it is, remains uneasy. Vader respects Thrawn's competence but resents his independence. Thrawn values Vader's power but distrusts his emotional volatility. They work together because the Emperor wills it, but there is no warmth between them. The confrontation that many expect never quite materializes. Instead, they circle each other warily, each pursuing their goals while keeping one eye on the other. As months turn to years, the rebellion transforms into something darker and more desperate. The idealistic alliance that dreamed of restoring the Republic has been replaced by a scattered insurgency willing to use any means necessary to survive. Mon Mothma, and once the voice of moderation, now authorizes operations that would have been unthinkable before Yavin. Sabotage, assassination, terror attacks designed to destabilize Imperial control. The line between rebel and terrorist blurs. Luke Skywalker becomes the most wanted man in the galaxy. Imperial propaganda paints him as a dangerous fanatic, a cultist clinging to the discredited mysticism of the Jedi. Bounty hunters and Imperial agents track his movements across the stars. But Luke has not been idle. In the swamps of Dagobah, he found what he was looking for, Yoda, the ancient Jedi master who had survived the Purge. Under Yoda's guidance, Luke's powers have grown. He is no longer the naive farm boy who stumbled into the trench run at Yavin. He is becoming something more. Much anger in you, much fear. Yoda's voice is heavy with concern. The path you walk, dangerous it is. To the dark side, it can lead. I know the risks, Master, but I can't just hide here while the Empire hunts down my friends. I have to fight. Fight, you must, but how you fight matters, it does. Remember this, young Skywalker. The Force is your ally, but twisted by anger, by hate, your ally it will not remain. Luke nods, but in his heart, he struggles with Yoda's teachings. The patience the old master preaches feels impossible in the face of everything he has lost. Every day that passes is another day the Empire grows stronger. Another day his friends are hunted. He's been in contact with Leia, Han, and the others. They have established a new base, smaller and more mobile than Yavin, constantly moving to stay ahead of Thrawn's hunters. They need him. The rebellion needs him. But first, soon he must complete his training. First, he must become the Jedi the galaxy needs. The training is brutal, pushing Luke to the limits of his physical and mental endurance. Yoda teaches him to see the Force not as a weapon, but as a way of understanding the universe itself. He learns to sense the future, to read the intentions of others, to move objects with his mind. He also confronts his own darkness. In a cave on Dagobah, strong with the dark side, Luke faces a vision of himself wearing Darth Vader's mask. The image haunts him, a warning of what he could become if he gives in to his fear and anger. Your father, he was, Vader. Yoda finally reveals the truth that Luke has long suspected. Consumed by the dark side, he was. Anakin Skywalker, a great Jedi he was. But fear and anger, they destroyed him. Luke reels from the revelation. His father, Darth Vader, the monster who killed Obi-Wan, who has been hunting him across the galaxy, is his father. There is still good in him. Luke's voice is barely a whisper. I can feel it. Perhaps. But save him. You must not try. Not yet. Not until ready you are. Face Vader now and fall you will, as your father fell. Luke wants to argue. He wants to believe that he can reach his father, can pull him back from the darkness. But he remembers Obi-Wan's death. He remembers the cold presence he felt during the trench run. Whatever good might remain in Anakin Skywalker, it is buried deep. Reaching it will not be easy. He continues his training. Months pass. And slowly, Luke Skywalker becomes something the galaxy has not seen in years. A true Jedi Knight. The transformation is gradual. At first, Luke struggles with Yoda's methods, which seem so different from what Obi-Wan began to teach him. Yoda emphasizes patience, meditation, self-control. He has Luke lifting rocks and balancing objects for hours at a time, teaching him to feel the Force as a living presence rather than a tool to be used. Size matters not. Yoda's voice carries the weight of centuries. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? And well, you should not. For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Luke tries to understand. He practices the exercises, attempts the meditations, but his mind keeps drifting to his friends, to the war, to the darkness that hunts him across the stars. Your thoughts dwell on your friends, on the war, on revenge. I'm trying, Master, but I can't just forget what's happening out there. People are dying while I sit here lifting rocks, and what good will you do them if you die as well? Untrained, unprepared, running to face enemies you cannot defeat. Yoda's ears droop with sadness. Already know you that which you need. You need only to feel the Force around you. Here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between the land and the ship. The lesson comes to a head when Luke's X-Wing sinks into the swamp. He tries to lift it out, tries to apply everything Yoda has taught him, but his faith falters. The ship slips back beneath the murky water. I can't. It's too big. Yoda sighs and steps forward. He closes his eyes, reaches out with one hand, and the X-Wing rises. It rises from the swamp as if it weighs nothing, underwater streaming from its hull until it rests gently on solid ground. I don't believe it. That is why you fail. The words cut deep. Luke stares at the X-Wing, at the ancient master who lifted it with such apparent ease, and something shifts inside him. Belief. Faith. Not in himself, but in the Force that binds all things together. It has always been there, waiting. He simply needed to trust it. The training intensifies after that. Luke learns to see with his feelings rather than his eyes. He learns to move without thought, to act without hesitation. The lightsaber becomes an extension of his will, guided by the Force rather than mere muscle. He also learns the history of the Jedi, the tragedy of their fall. Yoda speaks of the Clone Wars, of the hubris that blinded the Order to the Sith threat growing in their midst. So he speaks of Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one who was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and how fear and attachment led him to darkness. Powerful, your father was. The most powerful Jedi I had ever trained, but impatient, afraid. When he believed he would lose those he loved, he chose the dark side to save them, and in doing so, he destroyed everything he sought to protect. Luke listens, he learns, and he makes a vow that he will not repeat his father's mistakes. Meanwhile, Thrawn's campaign against the rebellion continues. The Grand Admiral has proven to be everything the Emperor hoped, systematically dismantling the Alliance's infrastructure while minimizing the collateral damage that creates new rebels. But he has also become something Palpatine did not anticipate, a political force in his own right. Thrawn's reforms have won him supporters throughout the Imperial military and bureaucracy. Officers who once resented taking orders from an alien now praise his leadership. Systems that once seethed with resentment now offer genuine loyalty. This concerns Palpatine. He did not elevate Thrawn to create a rival center of power. He elevated him to be a tool, useful and disposable. The Grand Admiral is becoming too popular, too independent. Something will have to be done. But not yet. The rebellion, though wounded, still lives. Skywalker still lives. Until these threats are eliminated, Thrawn remains necessary. The confrontation comes 5 years after the destruction of Yavin. Imperial intelligence has finally located the rebellion's primary base, hidden in an asteroid field in the Outer Rim. Thrawn assembles the largest task force since the attack on Yavin, determined to finish the war once and for all. The Death Star leads the assault. The massive battle station moves through hyperspace, accompanied by a fleet of star destroyers, carriers, and support ships. On the bridge, Thrawn studies the tactical displays, anticipating the battle to come. This time, there will be no escape. The asteroid field limits the rebels' options for retreat. Their fleet, such as it is, cannot stand against Imperial firepower. The only question is whether they will fight or flee. Sir, we're picking up a transmission from the rebel base. It's addressed to you personally. Thrawn raises an eyebrow. Put it through. The holographic image flickers to life. It shows a young man in robes, his face calm but determined. Luke Skywalker, Grand Admiral Thrawn. I know you're coming. I know you believe this war is already won, but I want to offer you something, a chance to end this without more bloodshed. Thrawn's expression remains impassive. I'm listening. The Empire is sick. You know this. You've tried to reform it from within, but Palpatine will never allow the changes the galaxy needs. He feeds on fear and suffering. As long as he rules, there can be no true peace. Your point? I'm offering you a choice. Help us destroy the Emperor, and we can build something better together. An empire that serves its people, not just its rulers. Continue this war, and you'll win the battle but lose everything that matters. Thrawn is silent for a long moment. The offer is not entirely unexpected. He has considered the possibility that Skywalker might try to turn him, or to exploit the tensions between his vision and the Emperor's. What surprises him is the directness of the approach. Your offer is interesting, young Skywalker, but it relies on a fundamental misunderstanding. You believe I serve the Empire because I share its ideology. I do not. I serve the Empire because it is the only force capable of maintaining order in a chaotic galaxy. Order isn't enough, not if it comes at the cost of justice. Justice is a luxury that only the strong can afford. Without order, there is only chaos, and in chaos, the weak suffer most. Then we have nothing more to discuss. Thrawn shakes his head slowly. On the contrary, I believe we have much to discuss, but it will have to wait until after the battle. You have made your choice. Now you will live with the consequences. The transmission ends. Now Thrawn turns to his officers. All ships advance to attack positions. This ends today. The Battle of the Cataclysm, as it would later be called, is the largest engagement of the war. The Imperial fleet emerges from hyperspace at the edge of the asteroid field, immediately engaging the rebel defenders. Turbo laser fire fills the void as capital ships exchange broadsides. Fighters swarm between the larger vessels, dueling in the shadows of cruisers and destroyers. The rebels fight with desperate courage. They know this is their last stand. Every ship they have, every fighter, every scrap of firepower is committed to the defense. The makeshift fleet is a hodgepodge of converted freighters, captured Imperial vessels, and a handful of purpose-built warships. Against the might of the Imperial Navy, it should be no contest. But the rebels have one advantage. They are fighting for their lives. The Mon Calamari cruisers form the core of the defense, their powerful shields absorbing punishment that would destroy lesser ships. Admiral Akbar commands from the bridge of the Home One, his tactical displays showing the chaos of battle. He knows they cannot win a straight fight, but they don't need to. They only need to buy time. All fighter squadrons screen the transports. Priority is evacuation of non-combat personnel. But it is not enough. The Imperial fleet is simply too powerful. The Death Star moves into position, its super laser charging. The Rebel command ship, a converted cruiser that serves as Mon Mothma's flagship, is directly in its path. The woman who has led the rebellion for years stands on her bridge, watching the massive battle station approach. We knew this day might come. She speaks to the officers around her, her voice calm despite the fear they all feel. Whatever happens next, remember what we fought for. Freedom, justice, the belief that all beings deserve to live without fear. The Empire may destroy our bodies, but it can never destroy our ideals. All fighters, concentrate on the Death Star. Stop it before it can fire. Red and Gold squadrons, rebuilt from the survivors of Yavin and new recruits, dive toward the massive station. But Thrawn has learned from the first battle. The Death Star's defenses are stronger now, its trench guarded by layers of overlapping fire. The fighters are cut down before they can even reach the surface. Mon Mothma watches from the bridge of her flagship as the super laser begins to glow. She thinks of all the people she has known, all the sacrifices that have been made. She thinks of Bail Organa, of Padme Amidala, of the generations of freedom fighters who came before her. She hopes they will be proud. It's been an honor. The beam lances out. The flagship vaporizes, and with it dies the woman who held the rebellion together for so many years. But the death of their leader does not end the battle. If anything, it intensifies. Driven by grief and fury, the surviving rebels throw themselves at the Imperial fleet with suicidal determination. And then Luke Skywalker makes his move. His X-Wing appears from the asteroid field, flying a course that no sane pilot would attempt. He weaves between tumbling rocks, dodging debris with reflexes that defy explanation. Behind him, a squadron of fighters follows, their pilots chosen for their skill and their willingness to die. All wings, follow me. We're going for the bridge, not the exhaust port this time, not the trap that claimed so many lives at Yavin. Instead, Luke leads his squadron toward the Death Star's command tower where Thrawn coordinates the battle. The Grand Admiral watches their approach with something approaching admiration. Clever. He seeks to remove me from the equation, knowing that without coordination, the fleet will fall into chaos. Sir, should we evacuate to a secondary command post? No. Thrawn's voice is calm. Order all TIE squadrons to intercept and prepare the point defense batteries. We will meet him here. The TIE fighters swarm toward Luke's squadron. In the cockpit of his X-Wing, Luke reaches out with the Force, yet feeling the battlefield as a tapestry of light and shadow. He senses the Imperial pilots, their fear and determination. He senses the Death Star itself, a wound in the Force, a monument to death. He senses something else, a darkness at the edge of his perception. Familiar, terrifying. Father, Darth Vader's TIE. Advanced appears from the shadow of the Death Star, moving to intercept. Father and son face each other across the void, the moment stretching into eternity. You cannot win, my son. Vader's voice resonates through the Force. Join me, and together we can end this war. We can bring order to the galaxy, not your kind of order, not the Emperor's kind. Then you will die. They engage. Lightsabers would be useless in the vacuum of space, but the Force is not limited by such things. Luke and Vader duel through their fighters, their movements guided by powers beyond normal comprehension. TIE fighters and X-Wings fall around them, caught in the crossfire of a conflict that transcends technology. Vader's attacks are relentless. His TIE, advanced, dances through space, its lasers cutting precise lines toward Luke's X-Wing. But Luke is no longer the untrained farm boy he once was. He feels each attack before it comes, evades with a grace that seems impossible. The Force flows through him, guiding his hands, sharpening his senses. You have grown strong, my son. Vader's voice resonates through the Force, a mixture of pride and menace, but you are still no match for the power of the dark side. Luke doesn't respond. He's too focused on the battle, too intent on reaching the Death Star's bridge. But he can feel his father's presence pressing against his mind. Mont's trying to find weakness, trying to break his concentration. Vader senses his intentions and moves to intercept. His TIE screams ahead, positioning itself between Luke and the command tower. The Dark Lord opens fire, a barrage of laser bolts that would destroy any normal pilot. Luke evades, twisting, diving, rolling through the fire with impossible precision. The Force is his ally, and a powerful ally it is. He He can feel the path through the chaos, the one trajectory that leads to survival. Behind him, more of his squadron falls. He hears their screams through the calm, feels their deaths through the Force. Each one is a wound, a reminder of the cost of this war. But he cannot stop. He cannot turn back. Too much depends on this moment. Luke is stronger than he was at Yavin. Years of training have honed his abilities, refined his connection to the Force. But Vader is still Vader. The Dark Lord's power is immense, his skill born of decades of practice. They are evenly matched, neither able to gain a decisive advantage. The duel spirals through the asteroid field, past tumbling rocks and burning starships. Imperial and Rebel alike give them wide berth, sensing the unnatural forces at work. This is not a battle between pilots. This is a battle between destinies. Until Luke reaches out, not with violence, but with compassion. I know there's good in you, Father. I can feel it. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully. Vader's attacks falter just for a moment. You don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master. Then I feel sorry for you. You're still a slave. You traded one master for another, and you call it freedom. The words strike deeper than any weapon. Vader remembers. He remembers the boy he was, the slave on Tatooine who dreamed of flying among the stars. He remembers the Jedi who promised him freedom, only to bind him with rules and restrictions. He remembers the Sith who promised him power, only to trap him in a prison of pain and darkness. He remembers Padme. The moment of hesitation is all Luke needs. His X-Wing banks hard, avoiding Vader's fire and accelerating toward the Death Star's bridge. The Dark Lord tries to pursue, but something holds him back. Something he hasn't felt in years. On the bridge, Thrawn watches Luke's approach. The point defense batteries fire, but the young Jedi evades them with impossible grace. He's going to reach the tower. He's going to make his attack. Thrawn does not flinch. All hands brace for impact. The Luke's proton torpedoes fire. They streak toward the bridge, guided by the Force, unerring in their trajectory. Thrawn watches them come, his expression calm. And then Darth Vader's TIE Advanced appears, interposing itself between the torpedoes and the bridge. The explosion is blinding. The Dark Lord's fighter is vaporized, consumed by the very attack it was meant to stop. Thrawn is thrown from his feet as the bridge shudders, secondary explosions rippling through the command tower. When he rises, the tactical displays are flickering, damaged but still functional. And they show something unexpected. The Imperial fleet is in chaos. Without Vader's leadership, without the cohesion that Thrawn provided, the individual captains are falling back on standard protocols. Some are advancing, some are retreating, some are simply frozen. They're waiting for orders that aren't coming, and the rebels are pressing the advantage. Sir, we're losing containment on the main reactor. We need to evacuate. Thrawn stares at the display for a long moment. He has never fled from a battle. He has never accepted defeat, but he is also not a fool. Order all ships to withdraw. Set a course for the nearest Imperial outpost and signal the Emperor. Vader is dead. The battle is lost, but the war is not over. The Death Star limps away from the battlefield, its damaged reactor barely holding together. The Imperial fleet follows, bloodied and broken. Behind them, the surviving rebels watch in disbelief. They won. Against all odds, against the greatest military mind the Empire has ever produced, they won. Luke Skywalker floats in the void, his X-Wing damaged beyond repair. And he ejected moments before the explosion, his survival suit the only thing keeping him alive. As the Millennium Falcon moves to retrieve him, he reaches out through the Force one last time. He feels his father's presence, fading but not gone. Not yet. I know there was good in you, Father. I knew it. And then Vader is gone. Truly gone, the last of Anakin Skywalker consumed in one final act of... what? Redemption or simply instinct? The reflexive protection of his own blood? Luke will never know for certain, but he chooses to believe it was love. The aftermath of the Battle of the Cataclysm reshapes the galaxy. The death of Darth Vader, the destruction of the Imperial command structure, the survival of the Rebel Alliance. These events cascade through the political landscape like a shockwave. Emperor Palpatine is furious, and Vader's death leaves a void that cannot be filled, a hole in his plans that threatens everything he has built. He had intended for Vader to turn Skywalker, to make the boy his new apprentice. Now that option is gone. Worse, Thrawn's survival presents its own complications. The Grand Admiral has proven his worth, but he has also proven his independence. In the chaos following the battle, it is Thrawn who rallies the Imperial forces, Thrawn who maintains order, Thrawn who prevents a complete collapse. Palpatine cannot afford to remove him. Not now. But he begins to make preparations. For his part, Thrawn understands the danger he is in. He has seen how the Emperor treats those who become too powerful, too popular. He knows that sooner or later, Palpatine will move against him. The question is what to do about it. So he begins to reach out to others who share his concerns. Officers who recognize that the Empire's current course is unsustainable. Politicians who see the corruption eating away at the foundations of Imperial rule. Even some former rebels, tired of endless war, willing to consider alternatives. It is a dangerous game, sir. One misstep could mean his death. But Thrawn has never shied away from danger when the stakes were high enough, and the stakes have never been higher. The rebellion, meanwhile, is transformed by their victory. Luke Skywalker becomes the symbol of hope they desperately needed, the Jedi who destroyed Darth Vader and turned the tide of the war. Mon Mothma is mourned, but new leaders emerge to take her place. The Alliance begins to evolve into something more than just a rebellion, the foundation of a new government. And Leia Organa becomes the face of this new order. Her diplomatic skills, her courage, her royal bearing, all of these make her the natural choice to lead the transition from war to peace. She works tirelessly, forging alliances with systems that once feared to oppose the Empire, building the coalition that will become the new Republic. Han Solo, improbably, becomes a general. His unconventional tactics and willingness to take risks make him invaluable in the guerrilla campaigns that follow the battle. He and Chewbacca lead a task force that strikes at Imperial supply lines, keeping the pressure on while the diplomatic work continues. And Luke withdraws from the fighting. The death of his father has affected him deeply in ways he's only beginning to understand. He retreats to a hidden temple he discovered in his travels, and a place strong in the light side of the Force. There, he begins the work of rebuilding the Jedi Order. It is slow, painstaking work. The Jedi knowledge was almost completely destroyed during the Purge. Luke has only his own training in the fragments he can recover from ancient sites. But he is patient. He remembers Yoda's teachings, Obi-Wan's wisdom. The Jedi will return. It will simply take time. The final confrontation with Palpatine comes 3 years after the Battle of the Cataclysm. Thrawn has been building his coalition, gathering strength, waiting for the right moment. When the Emperor summons him to Coruscant, he knows the time has come. He arrives with a fleet, not to attack, but to defend. Palpatine's agents have been moving against him, and Thrawn will not walk into the Imperial Palace without protection. The Emperor receives him in the throne room, surrounded by his red-robed guards. The atmosphere is tense, electric with unspoken threats. Grand Admiral, you have been very busy. I serve the Empire, Your Majesty, as I have always served. Do you? Palpatine's voice is silky, dangerous. And yet I hear rumors of secret meetings, of alliances formed behind my back. One might almost think you are planning a coup. I'm planning for the survival of the Empire. Thrawn's voice is calm. The current course is unsustainable. The resources we pour into superweapons and terror campaigns could be better used to build loyalty, to address grievances, to create a stable foundation for lasting rule. and you presume to know better than me? I know what I have seen. The rebellion should have been crushed at Yavin. Instead, our victory there only delayed the inevitable. They have grown stronger because we gave them reasons to fight. We created our own enemies. Palpatine's face twists with anger. You dare. I dare because I must. Thrawn takes a step forward, his red eyes blazing. You are a Sith. You feed on chaos and suffering, but the Empire cannot survive if it exists only to cause pain. Something must change. Either you will change it or what? Thrawn does not answer. He doesn't need to. Both of them know what he's implying. For a long moment, silence reigns. Then Palpatine laughs. It is a cold, cruel sound, utterly devoid of humor. You are bold, Grand Admiral. I will give you that. But you have made a serious error. You assume I'm not prepared for this moment. He gestures, and the floor beneath Thrawn's feet crackles with electricity. The Grand Admiral drops to one knee, his face contorted in pain. The Emperor's guards advance, force pikes ready. Did you think I would not sense your treachery? Did you think you could outmaneuver a Sith Lord? I have ruled for decades. I've crushed opposition far more dangerous than you. But even as he speaks, alarms begin to sound throughout the palace. Thrawn's fleet is moving, not to attack, but to broadcast. Every channel, every frequency, every holonet node is suddenly filled with evidence. Recordings of Palpatine's corruption, documentation of his abuses, testimony from officers and officials who have witnessed his crimes. The galaxy is watching. Palpatine's face twists with fury. He raises his hand, lightning crackling between his fingers. If I am to fall, I will take you with me. But before he can strike, another presence enters the throne room. A young man in Jedi robes, green lightsaber blazing. Luke Skywalker. It's over, Emperor. Your reign ends today. Palpatine turns to face him, surprise giving way to a terrible smile. Young Skywalker, I had hoped we would meet again. Did you come to avenge your father, or to take his place? I came to end this, no more, no less. Then come, let us see what your Jedi training has taught you. The duel that follows is the stuff of legend. Emperor and Jedi clash in the heart of the Imperial Palace, their powers shaking the very foundations of the building. Lightning arcs, lightsabers flash. The Force itself seems to scream as two wills collide. Thrawn, recovering from the Emperor's attack, watches from the floor. He sees the young Jedi's strength, his determination, his refusal to give in to anger even in the face of Palpatine's taunts. He sees the Emperor's desperation as his attacks are blocked and deflected, and he sees the moment when Luke's lightsaber finds its mark. Palpatine falls. The most powerful Sith Lord in history, the architect of the Empire's tyranny, collapses at the feet of a farm boy from Tatooine. It is over. The years that follow are years of rebuilding. The New Republic rises from the ashes of the Empire, led by Leia Organa and the surviving members of the Rebel Alliance. It is not perfect. No government is. There are disagreements, factions, old grudges that refuse to die. But it is founded on principles of representation and justice, not fear and oppression. The transition is not smooth. Imperial remnants resist for years, warlords carving out their own domains in the Outer Rim. Criminal syndicates rush to fill the power vacuum, and there are never enough ships, never enough soldiers, never enough credits to address every crisis. The New Republic stumbles often, makes mistakes, sometimes falls short of its ideals. But it endures. It grows. And slowly, painstakingly, it begins to heal the wounds that decades of tyranny have inflicted on the galaxy. Thrawn, surprisingly, survives. His role in exposing Palpatine's crimes earns him a degree of protection, and his strategic genius proves valuable in the chaotic transition period. He negotiates the surrender of Imperial remnants, helps integrate former Imperial systems into the New Republic, and eventually retires to the unknown regions from which he originally came. Some call him a hero, and others call him a war criminal. He was both. The architect of victories that cost thousands of lives, and the man who helped end a tyranny that would have cost millions more. History will judge him as it judges all complex figures, imperfectly, with the knowledge that truth is never simple. Before he departs, Thrawn meets one last time with Luke Skywalker. They sit in a garden on Chandrila, surrounded by flowers and birdsong, an unlikely pair discussing the future of a galaxy they both helped shape. "You could stay." Luke's voice is curious, not accusing. "Help us build what comes next." Thrawn shakes his head. "My work here is done. There are threats in the unknown regions, dangers that will someday reach the known galaxy. I must prepare for them. Besides, the New Republic does not need me. It needs to find its own way, so to develop leaders who believe in its ideals. I am not that person." Luke considers this. "You fought for the Empire. For decades. How do you reconcile that with what we're building now?" "I fought for order. The Empire was the instrument I used. Now a new instrument emerges. If it proves more effective at maintaining stability while also serving justice, then perhaps I was wrong. History will be the judge." Thrawn rises, his red eyes as unreadable as ever. "Take care of the galaxy, young Skywalker. I have a feeling you will need all your Jedi wisdom in the years to come." He walks away without looking back. Luke Skywalker continues his work rebuilding the Jedi Order. New students come to him, some from the New Republic, some from the former Empire, all drawn by the promise of understanding the Force. And he teaches them what Yoda taught him: patience, compassion, the rejection of fear and anger. The first class is small, just a handful of students, some Force-sensitive since birth, others who only discovered their abilities as adults. They gather on Yavin 8, a moon in the same system where the rebellion made its famous last stand, a reminder of how far they have come. The Jedi of old made mistakes. Luke speaks to them on their first day, his voice carrying the weight of all he has learned. They became arrogant, convinced of their own righteousness. They cut themselves off from the people they were meant to serve. We will be different. We will remember that we are guardians, not rulers. That the Force flows through all living things, not just those who can wield it. He never forgets his father. In quiet moments, so he meditates on Anakin's life, trying to understand how such promise could be twisted into such darkness. He sees the boy who only wanted to free his mother, the Padawan who loved too deeply and feared too greatly, the man who made a terrible choice and spent the rest of his life imprisoned by it. In the end, there was still good in him, still love, still the capacity for sacrifice. If that could survive 2 decades of darkness, then perhaps redemption is possible for anyone. He hopes that the lessons of the past will prevent such tragedies in the future. He hopes. But he is not naive. The dark side will always be a temptation. Vigilance will always be necessary. Han and Leia marry, their love story becoming one of the great romances of the era. The smuggler and the princess, united by war and tempered by loss. They have children, or Force-sensitive like their uncle, who will carry the Skywalker legacy into a new generation. Their son, named for Leia's adoptive father, shows remarkable potential. Their daughter, spirited and independent like her mother, refuses to be defined by anyone's expectations. The galaxy watches them grow, hoping that the heroes of the rebellion have found the happiness they deserve. The galaxy is not at peace. There are threats, internal and external, that require constant attention. But the worst is over. The darkness has been pushed back. And for the first time in decades, the future looks bright. All because, on a day that seems so long ago now, a Grand Admiral with blue skin and red eyes decided that the Empire's greatest weakness was not a thermal exhaust port. It was the arrogance of those who believed that fear alone could rule the galaxy. He was right, and the galaxy is better for it. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. This was just one path the galaxy could have taken, one future among infinite possibilities. But in every version of the story, one truth remains constant. Hope endures, courage matters, and even the smallest act of defiance can change the course of history. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.